Hi folks, so if you've always hankered after a Moog synth but never quite had the budget, today is your lucky day because they've just brought out the Moog Messenger, an analog mono synth with 2 oscillators and a sub-oscillator, a very flexible filter, a lot of different features for a very affordable price. It by no means feels like a budget synth sound-wise, sounds fat as hell, it's got its own character that's different from the other synths that they make. Before we get into it, quick plug, I've got an album coming out June the 6th called Warrior Princess. I'd love it if you'd pre-save it or pre-order it. And if you're around in London on June 6th, come down to the Jazz Cafe, you can get some tickets, the link's below. I've got a full band, it's going to be off the scale. Anyway, let's get into the synth now. So you've got 2 identical analog oscillators with completely variable wave shapes. Going clockwise, it goes from a saw to a pulse wave. And going the other way, it goes from a triangle which folds in on itself. So you get some really interesting textures that way. Oscillator 1 also has a sub-oscillator, which is again completely variable in wave shape. So between those 3 oscillators, you've got a hell of a lot of sonic flexibility. You can create a lot of different textures and tones. You got a very flexible filter which has 4 modes, 4-pole low pass, 2-pole low pass, band pass, which I always love, and high pass. Normally when you crank up the resonance on a filter like this, the sound thins out, but you've got this res bass option here, which means it keeps the low end even when you crank in the res. Without it, keep it in. This knob is dual purpose. If you've got an external audio source coming in, that controls the volume of it. If there's nothing coming in, it acts as a feedback loop like the old Mini Moog. It gives you distortion and dirt basically. Thickens up the sound. To the point of destruction. Also here, an interesting thing is you can use oscillator 2 to modulate the cutoff of the filter. It's quite an unusual thing. Again, it can go from being subtle to absolute chaos. You've got 2 dedicated LFOs. LFO 1 has 4 shapes. And it can be routed to these 4 destinations here, but you can also assign it to any other parameter by holding this and then selecting another parameter. I could select oscillator 2 volume, for instance, and it will then modulate that. An LFO2 is much more simple. It's almost in the Roland style. It's just here, it's hardwired for pitch, cutoff or amp, and you access it with a mod wheel. The cool thing is, if I had the mod wheel just a bit cocked like this, you got that wonky thing going on there. If I save that patch, it remembers where the mod wheel was, so that's really useful. It also has 3 settings in terms of speed, so you can go from very slow mod to audio rate. You can sync oscillator 2 to oscillator 1, which means when that's engaged, oscillator 2 doesn't change pitch when you change the frequency. And on this synth, it sounds really great. There's a great little onboard sequencer on here as well. Every patch has its own sequence that's memorized within the patch, which is how I like it. And it's very simple to input something in. Now what I can do is I can change parameters. Any parameter on the synth, I can do 1 parameter per step. And I can just do that in real time. In addition to that, you can also add random elements where it will change some of the notes. It's also got an arpeggiator with loads of different patterns. There's so many modulation routings you can do. They've continued what they did on the One and the Muse, which is the great system that a lot of other synth companies have copied. You just hold down a source, then you tweak a destination and they're instantly connected. For instance, I could make oscillator 2 level come in with the oscillator, then I could set it to a different pitch and get something interesting that way. So there you have it. All in all, a super flexible mono synth and with a really great sound. I hope you've enjoyed the video.